You are now tuned into the Miami ManCave Show with your hosts, Jeff Fox, breaking down all of today's sports news and breaking the internet. Live from Miami and brought to you by Remix Sports Media.
What's happening, everybody? This is Jeff Fox from the Miami ManCave Show. We are in beautiful Boca Raton, Florida, where it's all going down today, the Black Lux Picnic. That's right, where Black Excellence happens. It's going to be headlined by 𝗘𝗂𝗿𝗿𝗄. The Miami ManCave Show, though, we'll be here all day talking with some of everybody. I got a feeling that it's going to have a little Cane's flavor to it. You don't know, but stick around with us. We'll put it down with you, and we're going to have a lot of fun today, man. It's a beautiful day here in South Florida, and there are a lot of beautiful ladies here as well. Black Excellence happens. We are here at the Black Lux Picnic. This is Jeff Fox from the Miami ManCave. Stick around. Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to the Miami ManCave. You're probably wondering where we are. We are in Boca Raton at the Black Lux Picnic. I'm your host, Jeff Fox. We have an exciting episode in store for all of you today. As a matter of fact, it's going to have a little Cane flair to it as I welcome my good friend, Dr. Lenny Moore. Welcome to the Miami ManCave, sir.
Glad to be here today.
Yes, sir, man. We couldn't have this show without having you. You are a Miami treasure. I want you to know that. One of my favorite people. You're multi-talented, and you were on the youth football team when it first started, man. And there's so much that we have to talk about today.
Well,
so
I'm here. My time is your time. You had me come all the way to Boca. I wouldn't do it for nobody but you on a Saturday. I was out by my pool, and you called me and said, hey, Lenny, you know. So I said, okay, let me get out the lounge chair and let me go over and see what Jeff's talking about. So yeah. I'm here.
Well, you were there with Howard Stollenberger when we were great.
Yep.
And that was a beautiful time in both of our lives.
Yes.
Me as a fan, you as a guy that was right in there.
Yep. I came in 1980, the second year that Coach Snellenberger had taken over, and he told us exactly what he wanted to do and what was his plans, and we all bought into it. And I don't think that could have been anybody else that could have done it but him.
Yeah. What made him different? What made him go like in the inner cities and recruit guys like yourself and all the great players that came? It kind of became a Miami tradition. Well, what started with you guys?
Yes. My class was the second class that he had recruited. And when I came in, Jim Kelly was a year ahead of me. He was a sophomore. I was a freshman.
Yes.
And the class that he brought in speed. He didn't care about your color. He didn't care about your ethnicity. Coach Snellenberger was only concerned about your heart,
right,
and your talent. And he figured as though if you got the heart and desire, he can create and cultivate your talent to make you the best that you can be.
Right. And going into that national championship game against Nebraska, like nobody in America, nobody outside of maybe Coral Gables believed you guys had a chance to win that game. Nobody.
Well,
talk about the mood in the locker room going into all of that.
Well, you talk about being a great hypnotist. Coach Snellenberger, I think, was the best hypnotist in the world.
Yeah.
He made us believe in ourselves and saw things in us that we didn't see in ourselves. He could bring it out of you. And his speeches were legendary. I mean, legendary.
Wow.
And he didn't even have to talk. His demeanor, and he led by example. He wasn't just the type of coach that told you to do something.
Right.
He lived the life. He walked the walk. He took an interest in each and every person. You felt as though he was your real dad.
Yeah.
And you respected him as that. You had a fear, which was a healthy fear. You know, you weren't scared of him to the death, but that he was approachable, but you had a healthy fear that you don't want to let him down.
Right.
You want to make your dad proud, and that's what he gave you, that dad figure that you want to make proud. And that's not in football, but he taught life lessons. And I took that life lesson that I learned, and I think about the struggles that I had at Green Tree Practice Field, how hard they were and how grueling they were. And when I get out in real life and come up with obstacles or barriers, I just go back to that and feed off that. Yeah. It can't be no harder than that. Yeah. You know, and then on top of that, people don't realize that even though you're an athlete at the University of Miami, it's an international school. And they don't care who you are, you still got to get the grades. Right. You still got to make it to class. That's how I got mine. I graduated with one of the top GPAs in the athletic, still probably, beside me and 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏, right, at the highest.
Oh, Bernie's a maniac.
Basically, you know, so I realized that was going to be life after football. Yeah. And he prepared me for that. And I took those and I, you know, parlayed that into my successes. Yeah. I mean, I've had failures, but those failures, even with the failures, I learned something. I never learned anything from a win. Right. All my lessons came, and my intelligence and my knowledge and my experience came from my losses. When I won, I didn't think about nothing but how to party and celebrate the win. Right. When I lost, I want to go back and analyze every single thing that I did wrong so I don't make that same mistake. Right. And that's what gave me my intelligence and my business intellect.
Yeah, everybody knows about the legendary you know, the successes that they had after you guys, and, you know, the national championships, the whole, what it takes to be a Miami Hurricane. Yes. Right? Knowing what you know from back then, if you were head coach today, how would you fix the youth?
Well, basically it's like this. The internet has destroyed the whole athletic game. People start believing their own press. Coach 𝗟𝗏𝗴𝗰𝗆 didn't give a damn about the newspaper. He didn't want you to read the newspaper. And when you start reading your own press and you start getting beside yourself, and you make me, see, he didn't give a damn about no 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. We didn't have stars back then. Because I've seen some of the best All-American athletes come to college and flop. And I've seen some people who were average but had the fight and the desire and the win. They work hard. They don't have no stars. So they're trying to earn that reputation as opposed to coming in trying to live on what you did in high school. Nobody give a damn what you did in high school. Just like when you get to the NFL, nobody give a damn what you did in college. Right. Prove yourself to me here and now. And you had people who were hungry. You had dogs on that field, man. You had dogs at every position. Everybody it would be more fights in practice than at any point in any time in your life. So when you played the game was fun. Right. I mean, I ain't got to beat up on my friends and my teammates no more. I want to go out and whoop your ass. Right. But see, our team was the best conditioned team in the world. We didn't have no indoor practice facility and no air conditioning. That was a disadvantage. Right. Coming down here to play us when it's 90-degree humidity and 85, 90-degree temperature. You coming from Nebraska, Indiana, Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, where you up there in the cold, now you got to suffer this what we suffer. Yeah. And they weren't used to it. You can't, I mean, no matter how talented you are, you know, fatigue makes a coward out of everybody. Right. You can be the most talented athlete in the world, but fourth quarter, hell, you can't play, you can't show your talent if you can't breathe, or you over there cramping up on the sideline, or you being carted off the field, you need water. So that's basically what we was at. Well, basically it's like this. After my football career ended, I became a stockbroker. I was probably the only black in my field. I had a Series 3, a Series 7, and a Series 63 license, which is one of the hardest licenses ever get. We're dealing in commodities. And I worked for a company called International Trading Group in Coral Gables. And out of 400 people there were only 2 blacks. And I said that these people don't think that we can do this, I can do this. So I became one of the top producers in that agency. But from there, I decided to get into the insurance business. Right. The insurance business is what my future wife, who I married, she had gotten into it first. And she was doing so well. And see, being a stockbroker, you're spending 99% of your time on the phone. And I'm a people person. I like to interact with people and see and talk, and, you know. So she said, you know what? You could be the best insurance agent in the country. So I went to work with her, and me and her became the top producers for the agents that we worked for. Right. So much so, that's how I opened my own insurance agency. And when I opened my own insurance agency, to diverse a little bit, during the summer, Coach 𝗟𝗏𝗴𝗰𝗆 used to always get us summer jobs.
Really?
The summer jobs he gave us was the hardest, most difficult things in the world. He gave us work jobs in construction. You know, so you go out there and sweat from 6 o'clock until 1 o'clock. And I said, I didn't like that. I'm cerebral. I know this is going to be my future. So I got a job in the summer working for a dealership called 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗃 on South Beach. So I went to work for 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗃, and I was so good in finance that they had me in the finance department helping them get cars to finance. So I made connections with a whole bunch of people in the car business. And some of the people who left the dealership at 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗃 became general managers at other dealerships. So I had a lot of connections. So I got into the insurance business. I realized that in order to take delivery of a car, you had to have insurance. You got to buy the car, you got to leave the dealership, go to the insurance agent, get your insurance, and come back to show proof. But you can get buyer's remorse, and you decide you don't want that car. So I took that step out of the process. I decided to put insurance agencies in all the major dealerships. So when you buy the car in finance, you go right next door to my office, or one of my offices, you get your insurance, you come back, show the proof, you take delivery of the car right then and there. Right. So I became the biggest auto insurance agency in the state of Florida.
That's impressive, man.
I had 26 different offices and 26 different dealerships, and we were writing policies hand over fist. Right. But then, by selling auto insurance, I also acquired the representation of companies like Lloyd's of London, 𝗟𝗏𝗴𝗰𝗆 Funds, who was insuring special events. Concerts, rodeos, golf tournaments, so on and so forth.
That's where your life changed.
That was my life change.
Yes.
With Uncle Luke.
Yes.
In 1988, 89, when Luke was going through the thing with Sheriff Nick Navarro and all the beef with the East Coast, West Coast, nobody wanted to insure rap concerts in the country.
Right.
So when Luke came to me and said, Lenny, can you insure my concerts? I'm like, hell yeah, Luke. So before you knew it, I was insuring everybody. NWA, all the hard, the place policies, Beats the Boys.
Oh my God.
So I was the most powerful man behind the scenes in hip hop music. Nobody could put on a concert until they got my insurance. So I was insuring concerts at different venues.
Right.
In Jacksonville, Tampa, Tampa Amphitheater, Atlanta.
It was new, and people were
scared to death of it. So I was the one so when you went there as a promoter and said, I want to bring in Ice Cube or Ice-T or some rapper, or Luke or whoever, they said, well, no, you got to have insurance before you even start advertising. So it was, I don't know where to get insurance. So they would give them my cards because I did such a good job. And before you knew it, every venue around the country was saying, this is one of the 8+15 rated companies that we would accept. So before you knew it, I'm insuring everybody. So then my partner back then, named Wes Johnson.
Right.
Wes Johnson was the co-founder with Def Jam.
Yeah.
He was the behind-the-scenes muscle and the brains behind Def Jam, not Russell Simmons,
right.
Contrary to popular belief. So Wes said, Lenny, why am I calling you every week? Because at that time, Def Jam was the hottest label out.
Yeah.
And it had all the hot artists, the Jodeci's and the LL Cool J, the whole nine. So before you know it, Wes said, man, Lenny, I want you on speed dial. I ain't telling them to go nowhere else. So anytime our artists doing concerts outside of clubs where they don't need my insurance, any venue, they calling me. So before you know it, I'm insuring concerts that's going on tour all over the world, to China, to you name the artist. Then I was insuring not just hip hop, but R&B, then gospel, then everything else. So it just parlayed over. And from there, I was traveling all over the world. I was inspecting the venue, like a venue like this. I would come and make sure the stage is set up properly, that the wind not going to blow it down, that you got the proper security, you got the proper barriers. So I could fly to any concert I want and have backstage. So every artist, and not the artist, every record label exec and everybody that was important knew who I was when I walked on the set. That's the guy.
And that's very important. Here at the Miami ManCave, we've got a whole lot more to discuss because there's a lot to document. Miami ManCave. Dr. Lenny Moore, man, having so much fun here today with this guy. And there's so much more to get into. Thank you to all our sponsors, by the way, for showing love here on the Miami ManCave Show. Let's pick up where we left off. Because you are a fascinating individual. You talked about one of the keys to your successes, your many successes, relationships.
That's what life is about, relationships. I mean, you can have all the money in the world, and people only deal with you when they expect a paycheck. They deal with you because it's beneficial, because of financial reasons. But it's more important to be liked. When people I'd rather be liked than be loved, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So when people like you, they genuinely want to be around you. They want to share your energy. They want to be in your space. And therefore you have influence and power over those people if they like you. And that's when you can get more done. And I learned that. I told you from my partner, Wes Johnson. This guy was the most likable guy in the world. And everybody we met at Def Jam, they thought he was his best friend.
Yeah.
So, getting back into it, after the insurance game, me and Wes developed a great bond and a great relationship, a best friend, brother-brother type relationship. Because every time he called me, I would take his call. And so then he wanted to take me on the road with him to go visit program directors and radio stations around the country. And radio stations around the country, because when everybody released the record, they gave it to Wes.
Right.
And Wes' job was to get it played on every major station around the world and make it #1. And no matter who it was, unknown artists or major artists, they had to come to Wes. And I can remember every time Janet Jackson came out, and Wes could have somebody you don't even know about coming out, and he would whip her ass every time. Till he got to the point like Jackson, well, who the hell is Wes Johnson?
Right.
Why the hell don't we have Wes Johnson on our team?
Right.
So she hired Wes Johnson. Whitney Houston hired Wes Johnson. Everybody hired Wes Johnson. No matter what record label they were with, if they wanted to become #1 in radio ads.
How did you feel? Were you ever intimidated, rubbing elbows with these big wigs, or did you always know that you belong?
You see, the thing about it is I've never been intimidated, I've never been in awe or vaccinated by nobody, celebrity or otherwise.
Right.
The only person I ever felt
In awe
of was Muhammad Ali. And I got to meet him on many occasions, but other than that, I don't want nobody's autograph. I don't give a damn about taking a picture with you. You know, because what am I gonna do with it? I got so much junk. You've been to my house.
Yes.
I got so much junk in my house. Imported antique. What am I gonna do with your picture or autograph? Collect it and put it in my drawer.
Right.
So it didn't matter to me. And so I felt as though we're all the same. I never was in awe of nobody, no matter what your accomplishments were, any of that. I mean, I've respected you in your talent, or I've respected your reputation, or what you've done in life, and but I never was in awe of you because of, you can dribble a basketball, or you could dunk, or you could box, or whatever. But Muhammad Ali, not because of his boxing, but because of his mind. I was in awe of his mind and how he put everything on the line for what he believed in.
Right.
And he didn't give a damn about giving it all up. I'll go to jail. Take this damn belt. I don't need this. Money don't make me. I'm still going to speak my mind. And he told those white folks exactly what the hell he thought. So I had that Muhammad Ali mentality.
Yes.
And see, that's the same mentality that all of my freshman and sophomore class took to the University of Miami.
Yeah.
That's what
I told you during the break, we're talking with Dr. Lenny Moore here at the Miami ManCave. I told you during the break that I'm fascinated by how you take your relationships and the successes that you've had, and that engine in your brain is thinking about the next venture.
I'm always thinking ahead.
From there, from the concerts, you went to another venture.
Yes.
And you made history again.
Yes. So, with all my relationships in the music business, I decided to put out a magazine. I was at home writing out all of my subscriptions to Playboy, to Black Enterprise, to Jet, and all these. I said, well, damn, you know what? I like this Playboy.
Right.
But it caters to the white market. It caters to white politics, caters to white businesses. Let me create a magazine that has the same thing, Playboy, but cater to a hip-hop.
Right.
So that's when I came out with Black Gold. So when we came out black, my wife was a great graphic designer, okay? And I was a great writer. And since I had access to...
Wait a minute, your wife did the graphics?
She did. She started out, she did all the graphics, all the layout, design, everything for Black Gold. I wrote every article and did every interview. I had Paul Neal and another guy named Arnold Turner do all my photography. And I wrote all the articles. There's only 4 people that worked on the magazine. It was my wife, myself, Arnold, and Paul were my photographers.
That was it?
That was it. So I wrote the magazine, I took the pictures, she did the layout, I interviewed all the artists. Next thing you know, I decided to release it. Because I had access to every record label, every artist. I had the exhibits, I had the LL Cool J's, I had the
Public Enemy,
everybody.
Cash Money, I remember, was
Cash
very
Money,
much a part of the whole Black Gold story.
But they shot at least 10 videos in my club.
Right.
Every time they needed a club. And then when I opened up, well, first of all, I'm going to get ahead of myself. I did the magazine first. The magazine came out in 1995, okay? And then we did the Black Gold Awards. Well, before BET, it was a big deal. Yeah. This on South Beach in the middle of all the How Can I Be Down, Mixed Show Power Summits, Jack the Rapper, everybody was coming to Miami. All the radio music conferences was coming to Miami. So before you know it, the magazine blew up so big. And then I get this call saying, Lenny, we want to talk to you because all the prison systems have barred all of adult magazines except you and Playboy. Right. No Blacktail, no Hardcore, just you and Playboy. I'm like, what? My subscription shot up overnight from like 25,000 to 150,000. Wow. So now I got money going left and right to be able to float my business. Right. And so because Black Gold had 10 women in there, all sexually laid out, naked, you know, very soft. Everybody wanted to know, where the hell can I see these girls at? I see them in the magazine. Once you open the club up, then we can see these people at.
Legendary Black Gold.
So then I started looking for a club. I looked all over Florida, all over South Florida. I couldn't find anything until my buddy, Michael Peters, who owned all the Solid Gold at the time, said, Lenny, you know what? You need to call Leroy Griffin. Leroy Griffin owned Club Madonna. But he had all the adult movie theaters. He said he got a club on 79th Street that I think would be perfect for what you're looking for. It's in the hood, but it's not in the hood. It's closest thing you're going to get to South Beach. So I went and looked at the club. It was a movie theater. Three levels. So I made a deal with Leroy. I took out the lease. It was right next to the federal building. So during the day, all the people coming for immigration would use my parking lot during the day. Then I would use all their parking lot during the night. So I had my lot and their lot at night. So I had 400 parking spaces. So, boom, made the deal, gutted the whole club, 3 levels, the biggest club in all of South Florida, 25, 30,000 square foot at a time. And before you know it, Black Gold has a grand opening. It is star-studded. I mean, I got Russell Simmons, I got Leo Core, I have, you name it, everybody. So then, West made it so that every time a music conference came to town, they would do all their business on South Beach, and they would bus everybody over to Black Gold for the after party.
And I heard about those parties.
So then the after party was the one that, okay, Thursday night you have Sony Records. So all their new artists get to showcase on my stage. Friday night will be Koch Records. Next night be Vibe. It'll be Columbia. So before you knew it, and then Sunday night was always Def Jam. They were gonna close it out with the phone party. Right. That's when they did the legendary phone parties. So now, this is the first time we married hip hop and R&B together. The first time artists actually got to perform on the stage of a strip club. Yeah. And before you know it, Black Gold became the #1 urban club in the country. Not just a strip club, but urban club. Right. So from there, we had a great run. And then in 2001, 9/11 happened. And my lease was just about up. My lease was expired in January of 2022, about 2021. I'm sorry, about 2022.
Yeah, you never stopped reinventing yourself. Like it's like you're like the Michael Jackson coming up with another thriller after another thriller. Like to me, Michael Jackson could never duplicate Thriller. Like that was the mountain top.
Yep.
You kept going higher.
Well, you see what happened is that I never rest on my laurels. And I don't sit back and look at no trophies, I don't look at no awards. I just always feel myself moving forward. I can't stay still because even if you stand still, the earth keep turning.
Right.
And you're gonna be falling behind. So basically after Black Gold, the success was so great that we would never have moved if we hadn't lost our parking at the federal building after 9/11. They said you can't use that parking no more. You can't park on that side of the street. Then Burger King, not Burger King, but Wendy's right across the street, they used to close at 11 o'clock. They started staying open till 3 o'clock. So I lost 75 parking spaces there. So I had a traffic jam going north and south trying to get to my club, so I had a big problem. So I decided I wasn't going to renew my lease, so I was looking for another club. And that's when I found Diamonds Cabaret.
That's how Diamonds became Diamonds.
Diamonds became Diamonds because of Black Gold. It was an inconvenience. I became a nuisance for parking, and people trying to go to work in the morning or go to school, and people trying to get home at night. Traffic is off in both directions. So before you knew it, me and Wes Johnson, we bought the building. Well, we bought the business, and we were leasing the building, and started out at 10,000 square foot, but then it had a paint and body shop, it had a fumigation place in each one of the bays.
Right.
So as each one of those people moved out, I told them I wanted to buy out their lease. And in the end, the Viper shop, I bought this lease out completely and said, listen, I need this space. So that's how I took over that. Diamonds Cabaret became the hottest spot in the world from 2001 to 2007.
Yeah.
So Wes Johnson had decided to retire. He had got diagnosed with cancer, and he said, I'm going to retire. Def Jam had just got bought out by Universal, gave him $30 million, so he walked away, bought his big house over in San Paulo. And so I said, okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell also. So I sold my spot. So I sold it to Joe Rodriguez, who owned all the Cheetah clubs. And never forget, in November of 2005, Joe decided he's going to turn it into a white club and call it Cheetah North Miami Beach and get rid of all the blacks.
Type of stuff that you will only find out in the Miami ManCave. Legendary, like you're finding out a lot of iconic places.
Yeah.
And you're tied to all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much to your story. We're really running out of time because we've got so much more to tell.
Well, I'll get to it real quick.
Yeah.
So being after that, Black Gold, Diamonds Cabaret, crazy. Everybody come to town. We're having Super Bowls, which is right down the street at the Hard Rock Stadium, but then it was Dolphin Stadium. Everybody wants to come into Diamonds.
Championship team celebrate.
Everybody, the Miami Heat, that was their spot. After every game, every home game, they had a Heat corner where all used to come there. I get the phone call from Gary Payton from the airplane when they just beat Dallas.
Yeah.
Lenny, we're not even going home. We going to the airport. We get out the plane and come and see you have our bottles of Chris Styles ready. Boom. They all show up, they celebrate. And that's the way it went. And then after I sold it, I bought it back because he tried to make it into a white club. He couldn't make it. 6 months later, I bought it back. Turned it back into Diamonds Cabaret, the biggest thing going.
Yeah.
2007, I had fallen out my new partners trying to tell me how to run my damn business. So I said, okay, y'all can have this. Just pay me $1 million, I'm gonna walk away, $1.5 million. We agreed, I walked away. They didn't pay me. So I said, you're not gonna pay me? Well, then it's not worth what it was when we agreed because since you gone, the numbers have just tanked. That ain't got nothing to do with me. We made a deal. So I said, I tell you what, I'm gonna sue your ass. So I sued him. In the meantime, I opened a King of Diamonds.
Like another show, we gotta have a part 2 or something because I don't know if we've got to half the story
Well,
of this man, Dr. Lenny. Like, I mean, we really haven't. There is so much more to tell, but we're running out of time. And I want to get to what you're doing now.
Okay.
Which is like, I'm gonna ask our producers, please, give us like 5 more minutes if we can. I want to talk about the KLB stuff.
But what happened is after Black Gold and Diamonds, then became King of Diamonds. everybody knew me as King of Diamonds Cabaret. That's how I got the name King of Diamonds. So when I opened up the new club, where I took over Crazy Horse, I turned it into the King of Diamonds, made it the biggest, largest club in the world. Put the gym, put the basketball court, put the, I put my man Crazy right there.
I told you, it's Miami Hurricanes all over the place. You never know.
So then, King of Diamond became the most famous club in the whole entire world. Googled over 8 billion times. Every artist put their name in their song. Every artist shooting their music videos there. Everybody doing their music release parties, album release parties, showcases, the whole 9 yards. Went along great. The partnership I had with 𝗟𝗲𝗴𝗏𝗏 was great. Then after he passed, his daughter took it over. And me and her got along for a minute, but then she wanted to tell me how to run my business.
Right.
And I told her, you gotta be out of your damn mind. This is me.
Muhammad Ali mentality.
Yeah. So I said, listen, just pay me for the use of my name and I'll walk away. So they agreed. I walked away. They paid me for a while. Then they stopped. But then, like I tell you, in order to own a 𝗘𝗅𝗴𝗁𝗏 franchise, you need all 11 herbs and spices. Yeah. You just can't paint a building red and white and go in there and use only 10 or 8. You got to use all the herbs and spices. Otherwise, you ain't no 𝗘𝗅𝗏𝗁𝗏. Yeah. So after I left, people realized that. So then she stopped paying me because she went out and trademarked my brand behind my back without me knowing it. So that got into a whole lawsuit and all that shit. We had to go through that for years until I kicked her ass. Yeah. And now we won. So now I came out and said, listen, the pandemic changed the world. Everybody in the world knows what KOD and King of Diamonds is in theory. Yeah. But now you can get to find it and see it on the metaverse.
Right.
So I put KOD in the metaverse.
Give us a website real quick.
It's KODfans.com.
Man, I appreciate having you, man. This is the type of stuff you learn on the Miami ManCave. Dr. Lenny Moore, there's so much more to this, man. We'll probably need to do a part 2.
Well, now you know that they start filming my documentaries, a 4-part ministry doc that tells my life story, everything you hear about. It's video of everything that I'm telling you right now. Billy Corbin from ESPN to you, he's the one who's producing it, directing it, the whole 9 yards. My son is the executive producer.
Yes, love it. Congratulations. Congratulations with that, the boxing, the acting, the comedian stuff, you know, the hypnotist. There's so much that Dr. Lenny Moore. We appreciate you. A friend of the man cave. Friend of ours.
Glad I can make it.
All right, thanks a lot.
I may be just a foolish dreamer, but I don't care, 'cause I know my happiness